Hi friends, it's Miss Jamie from Greenhill, and I am not at Greenhill right now. I am in my studio in my home, and I wanted to do a project with you today. Let's make a collage. Since we were looking at Felicia Van Bork's work, and she makes collages, I thought it would be fun for us to make a collage too. And you probably do this all the time, but I'm gonna get you to do one thing today. We're going to learn the word overlap. So let's get started. I have some papers here, and here's one you can see. I've already cut something out. Sort of like Miss Felicia has. She has a lot of painted papers, and I like to collect papers that I print on and paint too, so I can use it later on for something like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut out some shapes. If you're a regular Greenhill visitor to the studios, you might have some paintings laying around that maybe you were thinking about tossing. This would be a great way to use them. Other things you can use, colored construction paper, you can use magazines, anything that you want. So let's get started. And right now what I'm doing is I'm just looking to see what kind of colors I want to use in my collage. And you'll notice I'm using a blue piece of paper for the background, so I don't have to worry about having color for the background. I've already got it. I'm just kind of grabbing stuff that catches my eye. This one has some fun texture on it. I don't know if you can see, it's got a lot of lines on there. So I think I have the colors that I want to use, and I can go back later and find some more if I decide that I need to add some more. So I'm just going to cut some shapes. Let's see if you can tell me what this shape is. What is that shape? It's a rectangle, right? So I've got a rectangle. I might cut two of these. I'm going to have to cut two rectangles. Alright, and I'm going to set this aside. I think from this paper I'm going to cut a circle. The circles are a little bit tricky to cut, but they don't have to be perfect. So here I'm cutting my circle. It's got kind of a weird little tip on it. Maybe I'll smooth that out, just kind of round it out there. So I've got a circle. How about a triangle? So I'm going to cut a triangle out of this piece of paper. Should I have more than one triangle? Yeah? Okay. Let's do one more triangle. Maybe I'll do three. Three triangles. Okay. So I've got my three triangles here. I've got one more piece of paper that I want to use. I haven't cut any squares yet, so how about, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cut some squares out of this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it. And this paper is pretty thin, so I can do this. And I'm going to fold it again. And let's see what happens. I'm going to cut down the edge here. So I'm going to cut all of these apart. I'm going to cut down the other edge. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this into a square. And I have, because I folded it 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. All right. Now I'm using a glue stick today, but really you can use any kind of glue. Liquid glue is great. Glue sticks are perfect for something like this, especially if you've got pretty thin paper. And let me kind of start arranging things. And I told you that I wanted you to try to do one thing today, and that is do something called overlapping. And when you overlap something, that means that you put one shape on top of the other. So instead of having it side by side like this, what we're going to do is we're going to have one shape lay on top of the other like that. So I'm going to arrange my composition, and I have these 3 triangles that I want to start with. I wasn't really thinking about mountains, but now I am. So maybe this is like an abstract landscape. So I've got my 3 mountains there, mountain peaks. I think I'm going to put that there. I've got these 2 pieces, and I'm thinking maybe we could go down here. And remember, we were talking about overlapping. This looks like the perfect place. I'm going to put my circle behind the mountain peaks. All of a sudden, this is a landscape. And that's what happens sometimes, is it just all of a sudden looks like something familiar and you kind of go with it. And I'm going to make an artistic decision here. I think that I'm going to maybe toss this aside. I'm not going to use that in my collage today. So let's see. And I'm also going to go with just 3 of my squares instead of all 4. All right, so I'm pretty happy with the way I'm thinking about this. And now that I've got everything laid out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove it one by one, and I'm going to glue everything down so that kind of keep everything in place. I'm going to start with my circle. Put my glue on here. And when I make collages, I always glue the thing that I'm going to place on the background. Instead of putting the glue on the background, I like to put my glue on the object. So we're going to do that. Alright, and then I'm going to press. And now I'm going to glue my mountain peaks on. I can't exactly remember. Let me see where I had these placed. Maybe right there. I'm doing this fairly quickly. You can take your time doing this. Make sure that everything's sticking properly. And it looks a little bit different from the way it looked when I started it, and that's okay. Alright, I'm thinking of this as grass. Kind of looks like grass. Okay, and then my 4 squares, or my 3 squares, I'm going to place those here. Alright, I did that really fast. Take your time when you're doing yours. So this is my collage that I created, kind of inspired by Felicia Van Bork's collages. And if you make one and you'd like for us to show it off, I'm going to put an email link where you can email it, and we're going to start an online gallery of your work. You can email it to me, and then I will put it on our website. Thanks for making some art with me today, and I hope everybody's doing well. Thanks.